Hi everyone, and in today's video we're going to continue the series of the VR tests and hopefully wrap up VR Spaceship. Hi everyone, welcome back to another video for Phantasy Star Online Blueburst. So in today's video we're going to continue the series of the lore playthrough in episode 2, and we're hopefully going to get towards the end of the VR tests in Spaceship. So with that said, let's get started. So we are up to 6-3 by looks of things. So thanks for coming, Hunter Taker. You're eligible to take the 8th test now. My assistant has the details. Shows what you're made of. Let me give you the details on this test. The test takes place in VR Spaceship Alpha and VR Spaceship Beta. It's to examine your crisis avoiding skills. Following your operator's directions, battle the hostile creatures within, and eliminate them as you head for the goal to clear the VR field. The VR field is full of obstacles, so you'll need to advance prudently. Also, it's a far more difficult field this time. You can abort and return to the lab in mid-test anytime though. If you think you're in danger, you should return. Be careful in there. So it sounds like we've got some crisis avoiding. I'm assuming that's going to be a lot of traps. But let's find out. So again, just a reminder for anyone who hasn't seen this so far, we are just blasting through this in normal just to get through these tests quickly. Okay, so it looks like we've got a first message from Ellie. Take it, this is the lab. Ellie speaking. Destroy all the enemies and get to the deepest part of the field. The enemies aboard the VR spaceship are quite powerful though. You can always come back to the lab if you're in trouble. Please keep that in mind as you progress. So nothing really new there. Do we have any new enemy details or anything? No, doesn't look like it. Do you have any more field data? No, nothing new. So we'll just advance through. Again, I'm assuming that they're just going to put loads of traps in this. Honestly, so far it just feels like their idea of crisis avoidance is just avoiding Panarms. That feels like it's all I'm getting in this quest. Okay, so another message from Ellie. Hi there, Ticker. This is the lab. It's Ellie again. How's it going in there? There are quite a lot of traps, aren't there? To be honest, not really. I think we've had one corridor with some traps in. Unless they're treating the Panarms as traps. I know you didn't ask for any Oh. Sorry. You're in a big hurry now, I imagine. The enemies in there are very tough. And you have to deal with all those traps too. This test has got to be one of the last ones, I just know it. So I'm going to do my best for you too, Taker. Yeah, so Ellie at this point is just wishing us through the tests. And honestly, I'm there as well because I want to be done with these as well. I do personally feel like the VR testing part is quite long in episode 2. I don't necessarily think it needed to be this long. That reeks of a trap. Oh, okay, I see we've reached the part of the quest with traps then. Took long enough. Again, I know I said this in the last few episodes, but at this point there really isn't much lore-wise to talk about. With episode 2, we only really start getting the lore once we get to Gardeval Island. The VR sim is just the training for that. Okay, so finish that room. So as usual, got a final message from Ellie. Hello, Taker. This is the lab. Ellie speaking. I've confirmed your exam results, Taker. Mission cleared. I knew you had it in you, Taker. We'll be disconnecting the VR link temporarily, so please head back now. So, as usual, with these tests, we'll go and report to Natasha. You've passed the test, Hunter Taker. I've got problems with your results. You can take the next test now. Please sign up at the counter. I'll be waiting. Now, either I misread that, or she said I've got problems with your results. No idea. You've passed the test. The Chief is more than satisfied with your results. Maybe I did just misread it. Even I recognise your skills, so even Dan is starting to come around to us now. Things are far from finished though. You're definitely not the run-of-the-mill hunter, that's for sure. Even so, I feel compelled to ascertain the full depths of your skills. That's just how I think. Please go to the counter and sign up for the next test. Thank you. Okay, so we'll get straight on to the next one. Thank you, Hunter Taker. Our analysis of potential investigation points is nearly complete. After that, all we need to do is decide who we send. It might even be you. You'll just need to show us that you can handle the task. You can get more information from my assistant. Maybe you do have what it takes. Let me give you the details on this test. This test takes place in VR Spaceship Alpha and VR Spaceship Beta. It's another test of your tactical prowess. Following your operator's directions, get to the deepest part of the VR Spaceship Beta within the time limit. You're probably fully aware of the gist of things already. The spaceship field is incredibly high level. The testing here isn't even comparable to the temple. Be mindful of the time limit and press forward. Be careful in there. Now I know that this quest in Ultimate is a nightmare, because the time limit is quite tight. Hopefully we won't have any problems. So we get 30 seconds for eradicating enemies and 60 seconds for getting extra items, so the same as the temple one really. And we have a 20-minute time limit to start with. So we'll just blast through this as fast as we can. If we get any of the bonus items on the way, great. If we don't, it's not really a huge deal. Panam's do unfortunately waste a bit of time. It doesn't help when you got really delayed spawns as well. I suspect that's probably deliberate though, just to make the time limit a bit more of a problem. Okay, so we just got to the end of Spaceship Beta. Timer stopped, transmitters test record, enemies eradicated, area secured, time over confirmed. Hello Taker, this is the lab. Ellie speaking. I've confirmed your exam results, Taker. Maybe you'll meet the full compatibility approval. If that's the case, then I'll... No, not maybe. I know you can do it, Taker. What kind of operator would I be if I didn't believe in you? Now we're going to be disconnecting the VR link here. Please return to the teleporter. Good job. So again, back to the lab, and again we'll just report to Natasha. I've gone over your exam scores, but... well, there are no issues with your test results. You've got a great record up until now. I believe that you've already qualified. Still, it's my assistant who ultimately determined this. You'll need to take all the tests to get his approval. I like how she's the boss, but her assistant decides whether I'm good enough. Undertaker, you may now take the final test. I have no doubt in my mind that you'll be able to pass. Don't prove me wrong. Let me tell you how your test went. Your results are not unacceptable. The Chief likely will have no qualms with your competence. However, to be honest, I still don't have complete trust in your skill. Our tasks are of the most critical nature. Even the slightest slip-up could spell disaster. Still, you have authorization to take the final test. Let me just make that official record. This test is concluded. I've said it before, but the next test will be the last. I hope that we'll be able to give you a passing mark. Thank you for your efforts. So with that being said, so we're now on to the final test for Spaceship. So once we're done with this, then we'll actually be on to the actual proper story of episode 2. So let's just get this last test out of the way. Good work, Undertaker. You've made it to the final test. My assistant has the details. You are, of course, taking it. I trust that your skills will be up to the task. Give us your best. Oh, we got a banner. Someone's found a red ring. So did I recently as well. There we go. I actually got that on stream, so if you want to see the actual red ring drop, go and watch the last PSO stream in the week before this video. Let me give you the details. This is the final compatibility test. It takes place in the final VR spaceship area. The overall details are as follows. Secure the area. If you can do that, then you'll have proven yourself to us. Naturally, being the final test, it will be quite dangerous. Well then, don't let yourself get caught unprepared. Be careful. So, after much back and forth, we have finally reached the final VR test. So this, as you would expect, much like the temple quest before, this is essentially just a full run of VR Spaceship. So I will again just cut in and out of this because it will just be a regular run through. There are no bits of lore at all during this until we get to the last part. Okay, so after going through that quest, I can confirm it was just basically a full temple run, and a lot of it was actually really similar spawns to the previous quest. So we finally get to this boss portal. So, and this introduces the second new enemy of episode 2, which is the Gold Dragon. So Gold Dragon we'll find out a little bit more about, but it's essentially meant to be like a VR simulation based on, I believe, how the dragon could potentially evolve. Which is quite a cool idea, honestly. It's kind of similar to how Barbara is, sort of an offshoot from Durrell there. It's a really cool arena. Obviously, again, nothing really to go through from a lore perspective, because we are just in a VR simulator. I've always liked in this arena how you can see a character on the screen. So this is the final test of the VR simulator. So the idea is that if we beat Gold Dragon, we complete the simulator. So much like the dragon as well, he does have a hard HP lock at this point. So I've always liked this about the Gold Dragon as well, that it cloned itself. So and with that, we defeat the Gold Dragon. And that brings us to the end of the VR tests. So what we're going to do this time is we're actually going to check in with the terminal first. So VR test field transmission from final spaceship area. Undertaker. VR field, final spaceship area cleared. Good job, Taker. All VR tests for the spaceship area have been completed. Both the temple and spaceship areas are cleared. This means this is the end of the Hunter's exam. Taker, the Chief wishes to speak to you directly in the lab. The link will be disconnected. Please enter the teleporter. Before we do that though, let's actually go back in here. And let's go to enemy data. And let's see what it says for Gold Dragon. Let's see. According to the data, we've determined that dragons exist on Ragol. They live underground. So this is obviously referring to the dragon from episode 1 that is under the Central Dome. Back home, dragons only show up in myths and stories. And again, by back home, she's probably referring to Coral. I can't believe such a creature actually exists on Ragol. I guess I'll continue. We've inputted dragon data into our evolutionary simulator. Amazingly enough, it may evolve into what we call the Gold Dragon. But the Gold Dragon is just a legend, that's what it says. Taker, you might know this already, but Gold Dragon legend originated on the homeworld of Coral. So this again is confirming that Coral is a homeworld. That this VR system recreated something that was just a legend. Can you imagine the sheer processing power you need for that? This again is tying into Ellie's love of machines. Haha. Oh, never mind. Forget about it. Really, it's nothing. Just forget about what I just said. Yeah, Ellie's obviously very, very obsessed with machines and particularly with AI. So with that, we'll go back to the lab. We'll just quickly do a check just to make sure there's no extra field data. It looks like there is one, actually. The spaceship area is actually a simulation of a section on Pioneer 2. Now this, in all the time I've played PSO, I did not know this. This section, or block, was designed by the military. The design itself is very old. Let's see. Most of the cargo in this area is weaponry of some sort. The military trained here for possible attacks during our voyage. Luckily, we've never had to apply any of those skills. Can't believe everything that's happened on the surface. Sorry, it's too late to talk about it now. We're counting on you, Taker. Our hopes are with you. Good luck. So that took a very dark turn at the end, so that indicates that this is definitely after the explosion on the surface. Because she's just commented on everything that's been happening on the surface and how we can't do anything about it now. That's really interesting that this is all modelled on Pioneer 2. So this means then that all of this cityscape in the background that we mentioned in a previous video is all based on Pioneer 2 as well. Which makes sense because the section of Pioneer 2 that you normally see is a very, very small area of it. There is also in the background here, there is some data which shows you some, I guess, some like genetic data of Gold Dragon, which is kind of cool. So go back to the lab. And we'll go and talk to... I may notice a slight difference here. Why it reloaded in again. We'll come to that. So we'll talk to Natasha first. Undertaker, give yourself a pat on the back, you've passed. Your results show that you're qualified to handle our jobs. We found an investigation point for you too. Also, you of course recall your operator from the tests. She will be assigned to keep her position to assist you. I hope you two get along well. And finally, I've prepared a special something for you in commemoration. You can get it from your operator. So we'll talk to Dan as well. As the chief mentioned, Ellie Person will be your official operator for this mission. She will help you with further details about the mission. She's over there by the operator booth. Please go talk to her. Just check to make sure you got nothing else to say. So as you'll recall, this booth was always empty, where now we have Ellie. So Ellie was our operator during the VR test, and we now get to see her for the first time. Well, the first time in episode 2. If you played episode 1, you'll know that there is a quest that features her, but she looks quite different in that one. Let's talk to Ellie. Take her. We finally meet face to face. Now this, I don't know if this dialogue is any different if you've already done Knowing One's Heart in episode 1. I'm Ellie. To be honest with you, this test also has another purpose. It's used to match a hunter with a compatible operator. So that means I still get to be your operator. Aren't you glad? Oh, I almost forgot. The chief prepared something for your upcoming investigation. Please take it. And we get a weapon. Now this in Ultimate would be a special weapon with hit. Oh yeah, look at this. What you see is the real Callus. He's the lab's newest AI system. I worked with him during the exam. But I never really got to interface with him. But now, I can't believe they let a rookie like me touch the main terminal. Again, her love of machines is coming out. And again, if you've played episode 1 with Knowing One's Heart, you'll know why it's called Callus. Now I get to talk to him all I want. It's great. Anyway, let's see. The chief went over the basic details of the mission with you, right? No, not yet? Let's see then. Well, anyway, I'm glad to still be your operator from here on, Taker. I know that we'll just get along fantastic. So we don't actually get to know what the actual mission is yet. So we'll find out in the next VR quest, which we'll do in the next episode. So we'll end it there for now. As usual, if you enjoyed this kind of video, please consider liking, subscribing, or joining as a member. We do a couple of videos a week. We normally stream on a Sunday, and we are considering doing a couple of Twitch streams as well over the next few days as well. But yeah, if you enjoyed the videos, stick around. Next episode, we'll actually start the actual main story of episode 2 now that we've beaten the VR tests, and we'll find out what's going on Raggle. Yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and see you guys in the next one.